Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. There were apparently two Valentines who were martyred under the Emperor Claudius. Neither of them, however, had anything at all, as far as we know, to do with romance or love. The reason St. Valentine's Day has become associated with those things is because in the 5th century, Pope Gelasius II wanted to Christianize a pagan festival, the festival of Lupercalia, which was celebrated at the same time of the year, which included, among other things, the drawing of lots that put a particular man and a particular woman, otherwise strangers to each other, together, and they were permitted to have as much sexual fun as they liked over the period of the festival. And Gelasius thought this was a barbaric and unchristian festival, so he wanted to stop it. And the way he stopped it was by bringing to St. Valentine's Day these connections with romance and love, but in the Christian way, not in the way that Lupercalia had promoted. And so that's why we associate Valentine's Day now, I think, with those kind of aspects of our human lives. But what I went on to think about had very little to do actually with love and romance. When I read about that, it occurred to me to think a little bit more about the relationship over history between the church and the secular world. Here was Pope Gelasius wanting to embrace an aspect of the secular world and bring it into the Christian life, to Christianize it, to make it more in keeping with how God might want human beings to behave to each other. And that has always been the point of Christianity, to try and help to create a world in which God's values are what dominate. And over the centuries, that's what Christians and the church at its best has tried to do. But so often, sadly, it's been the other way around, that the church has been much more influenced by society than society by the church. And the church has often seemed to be very little different from any other secular organisation. The one thing that I think Christianity has contributed to society, which has made a huge difference, particularly since the Renaissance, is the idea that each human being is important. This was Martin Luther's contribution to the Reformation, picked up by the Renaissance thinkers, and now part of the majority of people's thinking, that every human being, regardless of their status, regardless of their physical abilities, regardless of their gender, regardless of their race, everybody is important. And though we often don't live by this creed, I think for most people nowadays, Christian or not, that would be a value that they would want to say they adhered to. And that is fundamentally a contribution of Christianity to society. But sadly, even in that respect, I think often the church has fallen behind. And for example, in the way in which women's lives are respected and given freedom, and gay people ditto, the church is behind society in following up what this belief really means, that everybody is important. And so today I want to just celebrate what Christianity has offered to society, but also to share in the sadness of those ways in which the church falls very far short of bringing to the society around us the values by which God would want us to live.